All right, good morning. Thanks for having me here. Thanks for being here. My name is Brian Ferris. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, we're going to get to the Mission Home Project. But first of all, I want to do a quick introduction. I want to give you why, the origins of interest in supporting, serving senior missionaries. So it starts with, there's two main things to start with. First of all, when I received my patriarchal blessing, long time ago, back in 1992, before I was called to serve as a young missionary and assigned to Italy, I received my patriarchal blessing. My patriarchal blessing at that time, there's a specific phrase in there that's I turn to all the time and I've thought about every day of my life, to be honest. And it says, Brian, the most important thing you can possibly do with your life. So I was like, okay, ears are perked up. I am listening. I'm all ears. Okay? The most important thing you can possibly do with your life, Brian. And then I'm going to tell you what that is, but that would get your attention, right? That got my attention. This is the most important, not, hey, something that you could do that would be good, something that will be crucial or anything, but the most important thing you can possibly do with your life, Brian, is to be a missionary, both in your age now and in the years to come. That was the most important thing. That's the phrase. The most important thing you can possibly do with your life, Brian, is to be a missionary, both in your age now and also in the years to come. So think about that. That's all. I mean, obviously at 19, I went to Italy. I thought about that all the time. Worked and worked and worked. Italy is a very lovely country, wonderful people, the best people in the world, but not a great place for building the church at the time. Got some other stories. I'd love to talk to you more about those later, but so I went to Italy. Served from 1992 to 1994, came home, finished school at Utah State, came down to BYU Law School. And I moved down here, spent the first year living close to campus, and then something amazing happened for me. And that leads into this. The second thing that really is my origin story of why I love senior missions, why I need to do this, why I need to help, why I've been thinking about this. So during my second year of law school, just before my second year of law school, I had the opportunity to move into the most wonderful home ever. Okay, we called it the house on the hill. It was a home sat up on the edge of the cliff, basically. It used to be right behind what was Fred Meyer, up by the University Mall. At the time, there's a Red Lobster, everything there, but it's this house that sits right behind there that's kind of perched over the edge. Again, we called it the house on the hill. It was the coolest place, had these big, enormous windows that overlooked the entire valley, Wye Mountain, the stadium. You could see everything in Provo, everything that was going on. And I stayed there. I got to move in here with 6, 7 other guys. And this home was the perfect bachelor pad for a young single law student who thought he was pretty cool at the time. Had a big baby grand piano there. It had the human slingshot, which was something, again, a story for another time. Truly an amazing home. And that home was owned by President Stephen Schallenberger. President Schallenberger had been called to serve as a mission leader, as a mission president in Spain. And so what he did, not knowing what else to do with his home, left it to a nephew who was going to school there, who was going to manage his home for him. So that's one of the nephews, one of the Schallenberger nephews, was there in the home, managing the home for him while we were there. And he not too long after that, he got married, moved out. Another son, one of the Schallenberger sons, actually came home from a mission not long after that, and he was brand new returned missionary. Here he was, managed this home. Not a great deal for anybody, except for me, I guess, and some of the other guys. It was not the perfect situation, certainly for President Schallenberger, his wife. In fact, quick story. I'm almost ashamed about this, but as a law student, I felt like I was really clean, I was really good. I didn't have a concept of, hey, when rent was due and things like that, so they had to put up a little thing on the refrigerator that said, hey, rent's due now. But, we tried to keep it pretty well, but we definitely did not keep the house, and we did not keep it in a sacred, consecrated trust stewardship scenario like it should have been for President and Sister Schallenberger. In fact, we were, we loved it. It was the bachelor pad. We would, have people over all the time, and we decided one time that we were going to have a party. We were going to throw a party at this home, and we were going to have a live band. Thought, well, live band, that's awesome. We'll get lots of people there. We'll have hundreds, dozens, I don't know how many. We'll get lots of people there. And it's BYU approved type party, not drinking and smoking, not doing anything but a party. Lots of people, live band. Returned missionary, live band. And it just so happens that a couple of these guys in the band had served in Spain in President Schallenberger's mission. Yeah, so it didn't take long for the word to get back, even before, this was early email time. Not a lot of phone calls, probably to the mission president or anything like that, but it did not take a lot of time for the word to get back to President that there's going to be a big party. And isn't it wonderful? His missionaries are going to be playing at his home for this party. This is kind of their chance. They kind of went to him. I guess it got back to him like, hey, this is our gig. This is our opportunity. We maybe get discovered or whatever they thought. That did not go over well. The word soon came back that says, no, you are not to have a party at my house. Well, anyway, we didn't. Moved on. I graduated from law school at BYU. It's still, President Sister Schallenberger still had over a year left. I've never met them directly, but it was great. They came back. They actually demoed the home and rebuilt it. So that's one of the interesting things. So it wasn't perfect. I don't really know how the finances worked. I did pay my rent when they put up the little thing on the refrigerator, the little sign that said rent's due now. But that was part of the thought. So then, life happened. I built a career, eventually got married, had kids. I have 6 kids. We've always been a missionary, thinking forward family. It's been our thing. We love it. My wife served a mission. She served a sign language mission in Riverside, California. So far, my oldest 3 have all served. My youngest 3 are still at home. But life happened. We built a career and started going. Well, then I had a pretty good exit from a company that I was had built and started, and I had an idea at that time. And this is the genesis of the Mission Home Project, but we'll get to that. So the genesis of, hey, I need to help missionaries. I need to figure out how to overcome their challenges and why they wouldn't go. But we're not talking about senior missionaries yet. We're going to get to that. But I had an exit, and I had a good friend of mine call me. He said, hey, you know what? He had been a handyman at a company that I had worked for. We'd become friends. He said, hey, I'm moving back to California. I got a job opportunity there. But I have this little house here in Provo. It's a great rental house, small little house. Do you know anybody who would be interested? So I thought, I'd be interested, but not in the sense that I need to build a rental empire or anything with that home. Just a little house, but that was the first idea that said, hey, you know what? I could take this home, and instead of using the rental proceeds to pad my bank account or anything, but I could use this to financially support missionaries. And I got the idea. I wanted to financially support an entire mission of the church. 200 missionaries. That was the idea. I was like, okay, how am I going to do it? So if I rent this home, I buy it from him, I rent it, and then I put that money in. And I'll find a missionary who's in need, maybe from this area, who the family can help by doing some work, kind of Habitat for Humanity type. We'll do this, and it'll be great for them. Well, I realized, and anybody who's done real estate investing knows, that if you have a fully leveraged home, fully leveraged rental rate, once you pay the insurance, you pay the mortgage, you pay everything, you collect that rent, even if you're managing the property yourself and not have a property manager or anything, you are not cash flowing much, if anything, especially those first early years. So it's going to take a lot of these little margin homes and a lot of risk, high risk, even if I'm getting help from BYU construction management people, getting help from others. It's going to take a lot of these homes. And I thought, well, I just had an exit. I got some money. Maybe I could hire somebody that they would do that and run this. That was the idea. Ran a lot of numbers, figured out a lot of things, tried to do a lot of things, and it was bleak. It was just really hard. It was like I felt like I was blessed for good intentions, but as we know, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So that was it. Well, life happened again. Had another career opportunity to buy a business that my wife and I have been looking to do something together, something that would help our family get on missions, support them financially. We had younger kids at the time. In fact, we had just had my twins were about a year old when we bought this business. Really small, fledgling apparel decorating company, and we built it. It was an opportunity. We were so blessed. We felt like we were given opportunities to also bless some of the community and different things like that, but we were really, really blessed to have this business, to employ people, including our own kids, with the kind of money that they would need to go on missions themselves, at least our two oldest boys. And so we built that. I always kind of had this Mission Home Project maybe a little bit in the back of my mind, and I still always was like, hey, how do I be a missionary? How do I fulfill my legacy, my opportunity, what I'm supposed to do with my life? and what the Lord wants me to do. Well, we sold that a few years ago. We sold that business after being in it about 8 years, building it up from very little to a pretty big business. We found the right buyer. We sold the business, and then a few months later, we sold the commercial building that we had designed and built for this business. It was a great opportunity. So now, again, I have an exit. I'm sitting on enough money that literally I could probably not work. It's not extravagant money. This is not big anything, but this is, late 40s. I'm in my late 40s. I'm not ready to sit back and retire, drink pina coladas on the beach. My kids are still in school and things like that. My oldest is now on a mission. Got kids going into college, going to go on missions, and still younger kids. So now it's time to think about this again. Maybe this is the right time. So I took a look at the business model. This is really the idea. I sat down and said, this is not going to work. I'm taking on all the risk. I'm taking on all this. And ultimately, my ultimate goal is not to build a business that I can sell, because this needs to be a 501c3 nonprofit charitable organization. It just has to be. There's just no way around it. I just couldn't figure out a way that it would not be. So that being the case, ultimately, my ultimate goal, and I'll tell you right now, my goal is to build this program such that the church will look at this and say, this is something we can do. This is something that we know how to do. We could plug this into our system. We could do this, and this could be the standard for senior missionaries. And so again, at that time it was younger missionaries. So, but this would be the standard that everybody should do. So, how do we get to senior missionaries? Because seniors is where we're going. I started to think about this. I started to talk with a lot of people. Sat down with a wonderful neighbor of mine. Hadn't been in the neighborhood very long because he had been the mission president in Honduras for 3 years. And my second son, was going to Honduras. Separate mission. San Pedro Sula West is where my son went. San Pedro Sula East is where this wonderful neighbor, Norm Klein, had been the mission president. So I said, okay, President Klein, I want to tell me, let's look at this. Let's look at this Mission Home project. Got the domain name missionhome.org, super excited. Had some people that I thought, well, I can bring to this, bring to bear. And I said, President Klein, tell me your thoughts. Give me some feedback. And he said, there's a few things. He said, first of all, thank you for your wonderful service, your ideas. Thank you for thinking about this. However, when you talk about financially helping these missionaries, a young missionary from Honduras does not pay $400 a month. No, that's not what the church doesn't charge them. $400 a month, whether you're here in Utah or a Honduran. He's like, they don't pay that much. It's just not what the church does. And when you're talking about, even if you could financially support an entire mission, $400 a month times 200 for the resources that the church has, you're kind of a drop in the ocean. As the Lord will accept your sacrifice, the Lord will accept your donation, the church will do that, but it's not necessarily needed for the young missionaries. He said, however, here is where I think your opportunity is. He said, I would give 20 young missionaries for one senior couple. And I'll tell you why. They can do anything. I don't have to babysit them. I don't have to transfer them. I don't have to worry about their companionship, whether they're getting along. I don't have to carve up an area for them. I don't have to, and they're just their experience. These are the most valuable people that the church has, by far. Senior couples. We need to figure out how to get them out into the field. And the other thing is, their housing is now capped and it's subsidized, but other than that, it's not. So a lot of people think that a senior couple mission, including myself at the time, I was like, okay, yeah, senior couples, it's, I can go on a mission, it's going to be $2,000 a month, and I'll go out. I have that in my retirement plan. So I got that, but it's not the case. It ranges. In fact, some of the highly critical areas that we look on, if you look at the website for Senior Missionary Opportunities, those are going to be $4,000 to $6,000 a month. It's just more. And those are the areas that we're not getting. And in fact, and then I talked with my mission president later, and I thought, you know what? We only had one senior couple in Italy, and they weren't there the whole very long. I believe they were there for about 6 months. I didn't have any interaction with them. My son in Honduras didn't have any real interaction with senior couples. They just didn't have any. But my older son, who had served in Phoenix, had the best experiences with senior couples. Oh, it was so wonderful. They were his surrogate parents while we weren't with him, while he was serving. My daughter, who's serving now, has the best experiences with the senior couples in her mission in Houston. What a great opportunity, what a great thing, what a great blessing these senior couples are. And he said, seniors, you need to help them. That's where there's an opportunity. Senior couples. These are the most valuable foot soldiers that the Lord has. We need the young missionaries, and what a blessing it is as a young missionary to go on a mission. But it's a blessing mostly for them, for the young missionaries. But those seniors, man, they have some power. Really, really great power. And then I thought, okay, well, great. Senior couples, that's wonderful. Now, what stops a senior couple from going on a mission? Why would they not go? This is, that's the $1 million question. What would stop them? And, we looked at health is a big issue, and I was like, I don't know how you can overcome that. Health is an issue. Unless you're doing mission prep, I'm hoping to go on a mission as a senior couple. I am 52 now. I am walking every morning because that's my physical mission prep. So hopefully I am healthy enough. Financial is another one. And so how do we take those that have planned for $2,000 a month and we put them in a mission that needs to be $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month? How do we overcome that? And then I thought, okay, one of the things that we need to do is, one of the other things that people talked about is, what do we do with our home? That's a huge obstacle. My physical assets. I've spent all of my career, I've spent all of my adult life paying off this home. Living in this home, paying it off, doing whatever. And now, am I supposed to sell it? And then do I come back to a different home, different ward, different space, different everything? Do I have to find another home while I'm out there? That is a big problem. So we'll talk, that's where we're going to get, that's really where the Mission Home Project starts. The other thought was, I looked at the business model and I thought, okay, Desert Industries, Goodwill, the green waste at our local dump, Timpanogos Special Service District, has a green waste section, and they charge for somebody to pick up chips, wood chips, compost, everything like that. Obviously, Deseret Industries is selling these kind of things, but their inventory is 100% free. So, I got kind of thinking, okay, thrift store model, green waste, how do I get more homes, more opportunities, more inventory to use? And that's where the idea, the pivot to property management came in. I can manage their home, which is a great blessing to them. They can go. And then what they can do is they can donate the money back through our 501c charitable organization. So we manage their home. If they need the money, it's theirs. If they don't need the money and they have excess, we put it back in. We help those financially that need it. That's the whole idea. That's the Mission Home Project. So we'll look at this. Property management, professional management of residential real estate for the missionary couples while they serve away from their home. The rental proceeds support the missionary service, with excess then donated to other senior couples with the financial need. Now, they still need to do their part. That's part of it. And we enable the service, removing barriers so more couples can share their wisdom and experience as valuable foot soldiers, advancing the church's purpose and the Lord's purpose. So, housing challenge, senior couples that want to serve but managing their homes present significant obstacles. What do? Do they leave it to a son, to a daughter? Do they leave it to, like the Schellenbergers left it to a nephew? Most of the time those don't turn out well. There's a whole cottage industry of young couples who will live in your house for free and manage it, and it's not normally a good experience. You could try and leave it vacant. My in-laws did that. They left their home vacant, served in Halifax. My brother-in-law lives a couple houses down. He came in, mowed the lawn, flushed the toilets, opened the garage every once in a while, did things like that. Then they got home after 18 months and they thought, well, we want to do that again. This is wonderful. Their insurance company said, no way. You cannot we won't insure it if it's vacant anymore. We talked about, do we sell it? And then they got to figure out where they come back to later, or they're coming back to a ward after spending years and years and years in a ward and helping and building. They come back to a different area. Those were kind of the obstacles. And what was needed, we felt, was a professional property management focused on finding the right steward to care for the consecrated property through the selection process. So, senior missionaries, here's kind of the issues: uncapped expenses. They may have limited resources, and there's a lot of needs, unfulfilled needs all over the world that we want to help fill. We don't want those going undone. So, stewardship model: we help you while you bless others, property owners, and then we manage it and we help them financially. So, let's go through how it works. Missionaries, they maintain control. So, property owner, you have full control over the allocation of the rents. It's yours if you want it. Or you can donate it back, and those excess proceeds are donated back to, and we match you up with somebody, kind of build a community. But here's the real kicker. Here's where I think we have an edge, because you could certainly hire a property manager while you're gone. Manage it for me, collect my rents, get somebody in, do those kind of things. Our model is this: better than you left it. Going back to old Scout days, better than you left it. So before you come home as a senior couple, we will be in contact with you constantly throughout newsletters and different things like that. We want to have alumni events. We definitely have lots of ideas for continued marketing and to continued connection and do those kind of things. But one of the things that we want to do is, you're going to have a capital improvement on your home, capital improvement project on your home before you come back. So not only is it gonna, you hope and you pray that it's gonna be in decent shape when you get home, but you're gonna find that it's better than you found it. You're gonna pick whether it's, hey, it's not gonna be gut the whole house and do a brand new kitchen or things like that, but it may be new carpet, new flooring throughout the house, painting, could be a gazebo, it could be a fence, something outside, landscaping, things like that. But there's a capital improvement project that we want to do before you come back. So there's the process, really quick: initial consultation, financial evaluation, we match you, you do the property management, we just go through this really quick, comprehensive support. This is the better than we left it, than you left it. Kinds of projects: interior, exterior painting, outdoor improvements, deck, fencing, gardens, home upgrades. One of the big things we'd love to do is smart home features, because while you're gone, we don't want you to ever have to think about your home. But if you do, there's cameras on it. There's smart home features. You know that it's taken care of. Flooring and surfaces, those kind of things. So then, yeah, if you're ready to go, we'd love to talk to you. Love to hear from you. Love to hear your ideas. We are still in the infancy of this. We're looking for advisors. We're looking for donors. We're looking for those that want to serve. But that's the Mission Home Project. That's where what we're trying to accomplish and what we're trying to do, and help build the kingdom of God through missionary service. This, I know, and I've been so directed that this is my life's purpose. This is my legacy. I call this my legacy project. After lots of other things that I've done and so many things that I've been involved in, this is what I've been called to do. And I'm so excited to share this with you, so excited to go through the ideas, so excited to walk through the process and things like that. So would appreciate any questions. If you want to stick around, I'll be here for a while. Thanks.